Wendi, take one. Mark.
I'm Wendi. I am an artist and researcher, and I am an SJA fellow. My art is always about technology, but also historicity and our relationship to nature. I love thinking about alternative ways of making knowledge, making sense of things, alternative timelines of historical events, everything that might feel alien to us, but might point to like new, interesting direction visually about knowledge making. I'm very excited by. So I kind of wanted to embody that with these nails. I'm not wearing those crazy nails today, unfortunately. But yeah, so when I say the word science fiction, what comes to your mind? Do you think of a metal spaceship, a neon city, a mega evil corporation, or a robot girlfriend? I imagine that you probably think of at least one, if not most of those things. And I think that is a problem. Why do we think of the same thing over and over again when we say the word science fiction, especially visually? And as an artist who makes art with 3D software and game engine, the same tools that Hollywood uses for producing sci-fi TV and film, I think that the problem of having the same visuals comes from the fact that we have the same philosophies as a starting point. And so I want to source philosophies differently. And I studied history of science in the past, where I've learned that our past is actually filled with science fictions. People comprehended the world in vastly different ways from the way that we do it now. And so I get really inspired by how people in the past thought about the world, and then I try to depart from those starting points and make my own alternative sci-fi. So for example, I think we can have more soft sci-fi. Instead of having more metal spaceships, what if we have more microbial sci-fi? One of the frontiers of engineering today is in biological realm, where people are making crazy projects and research on microbes and other microscale beings. And I imagine that perhaps in the future, instead of sending more humans to space, we will send actually more microbial astronauts to space to help us investigate the cosmos. So I made that video. Or what if science comes from a different history? We tend to think of technology as something universal or almost predetermined, but what if at the beginning of human civilization, there was never an East versus West, and you go deep down into the ocean, you uncover crazy bronze instruments that are also very advanced, and in there is a device that is a combination of the ancient Chinese oracle bones and the ancient Greek Antikythera mechanisms, two vastly different philosophies of technologies into one device. If that was the starting point, perhaps our world would look very differently now. Or what if spiritual and material share the same laws of physics? What if there is a jade satellite revolving around Earth, and it detects the flow of yin and yang energy around Earth's magnetosphere? And it can transmit primordial life force back to Earth at a specific location with high precision. So instead of performing merely remote sensing, it also performs remote healing. And what if we take all of these what ifs into one single creative, imaginative exercise? And let's talk about climate. What if the way that we think about climate change is not through the industrial, mechanical, brute force extraction of a specific element from the atmosphere, but from the personal scale of breathing? I have been making a 3D puzzle game about that, where you become a ball of breath, traversing a landscape of machines and nature, and you are on a quest to restore Earth's circulation of carbon, the carbon cycles. The machines are organic. The bioreactors are jade flowers that would secrete carbon dioxide balls. Solar panels are lotus leaves that would shoot out solar energy balls. And so the industrial plant of carbon removal becomes a lotus garden. And sometimes the gardens are afflicted, so the machines are not working, things are not in the right place, and you would have to use your breathing to help the gardens come back to a state of balance and harmony. And the way you do that is by pressing and releasing the game controller trigger to mimic the activity of like exhaling and inhaling which acts as a physical force inside the game world, so that you can push objects, pull objects, jump around, etc., so that you can interact with the objects around you and help restore the gardens back into a state of balance. Once you have gathered all of your energies, solar energy and carbon dioxide, then you can synthesize them into your carbonic elixir, which is carbon neutral fuel. And then you proceed to the next level in the game where you upgrade your fuel into a higher dimension by meditating more intensively. So the idea is that the spiritual and the material share the same physics, and a technology is only upgraded through having a higher awareness, through meditating more intensively, infusing more spirit into your technology. I wanted to imagine this world where the climate biotechnology is shaped by the philosophy coming from Taoism. I'm still making this game right now. Also started to make a short animation film inspired by the related historical research of when the West first discovered Eastern philosophies comprehensively during the Enlightenment period. But yeah, this is what I do. I try to imagine worlds of esoteric progress. I make alternative scientific devices, I animate them, and I make videos and games that inhabit other laws of nature, other geometries of history, other methods of knowing, and other ways of seeing life. And I know that none of these impossible fictions actually help us make better technologies in the real world. It doesn't instruct on how to do things. But I do hope to sort of loosen our comprehension of what makes a scientific practice in the first place and our narrative of how we got here, so that hopefully we feel more free in our imagination of what is possible, first in fiction and then in the real world. Thank you.